Nicholas at the Library by Hazel Hutchins. Pictures by Ruth Ohe. The day it was raining, Nicholas's mother said, "I know what we'll do. We'll go to the library." Nicholas did not want to go to the library. Nicholas wanted to have 23 friends over to his house so they could run and shout and build forts and jump off the furniture and play wildly up and down the halls. But his mother found the book bag, and Nicholas had to go to the library. The library was very quiet and very full of books. Nicholas decided to build a fort. He took 6 books from the A section. He took 9 books from the J section. He took 12 books from the O section and stopped. There was a chimpanzee hiding in the O section. Just a small chimpanzee, the kind that could ride in a pencil case or bathe in a cereal bowl, and it would not come out. Nicholas went to his mother. "There's a chimpanzee in the O section," he said. "Just a small chimpanzee, the kind that could ride in a pencil case or bathe in a cereal bowl, and it won't come out." "You have a wonderful imagination, and I love you very much," said his mother. Nicholas checked the chimpanzee. It didn't look like an imagination to him. Nicholas went to the man behind the desk. "There's a chimpanzee in the O section," said Nicholas. "Just a small chimpanzee, the kind that could ride in a pencil case or bathe in a cereal bowl, and it won't come out." "Does it have a book card?" asked the man. "I can't deal with anything that doesn't have a card." Nicholas went back to the chimpanzee. It didn't have a card, and it still wouldn't come out. Nicholas peered around the corner of the head librarian's office. There were stacks of important papers and tubs of important pens and 3 important telephones. "Hello, Nicholas," said the head librarian. "Have you been building book forts again?" "There is a chimpanzee in the O section," said Nicholas. "Just a small chimpanzee, the kind that could ride in a pencil case or bathe in a cereal bowl, and it won't come out." Together they went to the O section. There was the chimpanzee. "Dear me," said the head librarian. If it won't come out, how can I play with it?" asked Nicholas. "It's not a playing chimpanzee," said the head librarian. "It's a lost story chimpanzee. If it doesn't find its way back soon, it's going to be gone forever, chimpanzee." "Gone forever?" asked Nicholas. The chimpanzee gave a small, plaintive moan. One arm reached upward in a grasping motion. "Isn't there something we can do?" asked Nicholas. She consulted her head librarian's manual. The only hope for a lost story is rapid search and rescue with the librarian's emergency ring. She pressed the strip of cardboard from the page, turned it in a loop, and fastened the tab. "Except I don't think it's large enough for me." "I could wear it," said Nicholas. The head librarian looked at him sideways. "I could," said Nicholas firmly. The chimpanzee scrambling onto the cuff of his jeans. The head librarian took his hand. "Stand on the nearest book," she said. "Think of places where chimpanzees might be, and put on the ring." The librarian vanished. A smooth, melting feeling swept over Nicholas. Then suddenly he couldn't breathe. "Swim, Nicholas!" Nicholas burst into the water's surface, with the chimpanzee bobbing large as life beside him. A wave swept them onto a beach of warm, soft sand. "Where are we?" asked Nicholas in amazement. "It feels like a classic," said the head librarian. "Robinson Crusoe, Swift Family Robinson." "You mean we're inside a book?" asked Nicholas. "An exciting one," she said, "with wild animals and headhunters and—" "Headhunters!" said Nicholas. The chimpanzee gave a bow and leapt into his arms. "I don't think this is the right place," said Nicholas. "It will only take a moment to run through it," said the head librarian. "And remember, when we get to the back cover, jump." They began to run. They ran into the book, slowly at first, and faster they raced, past wild animals and quicksand and jungle fires. They brushed against terror and sadness and relief and adventure. Nicholas saw a great volcano rising out of the story. "Wait!" he called. He'd always wanted to know about volcanoes. "No time," cried the head librarian. "You can come back later when you can read." "Jump!" They jumped into coldness. They jumped into snow. "This would be a strange place for a chimpanzee," said the head librarian. The chimpanzee zipped gaily past on a pair of skis. "And my mother thinks I have an imagination," said Nicholas. It was a short book. Already Nicholas could feel the back cover approaching. "Jump!" he cried. They landed running around a family of bears making porridge. "Now we know where there are no chimpanzees here," said the head librarian as the little golden-haired girl came rushing out to meet them. Nicholas was really getting into the spirit of it now. "Jump!" he cried. They galloped through the farm books, they raced through Christmas books, they climbed mountains, drove trucks, and rode on covered wagons. They sailed through the ocean books. They traversed whole alphabets and went to bed 127 times. Some books felt scary the moment Nicholas jumped into them, and others were like a hot summer day, or a song, or the smell of pepper. But there was no place for a lost chimpanzee. "Maybe here," called Nicholas as they jumped into a circus parade, but all the animals were already in place. "Surely this is it," cried the head librarian as they raced through a zoo book. All the cages were already full. "Jump!" cried Nicholas. In the last book on the last page, they sat down on a spider's web. The chimpanzee weighed next to nothing by now, and lines of type could sometimes be seen running through it. "The book must be checked out," said the head librarian sadly, "or discarded." The chimpanzee gave a pitiful howl. One hairy arm reached overhead with a grasping motion. Nicholas stared at that arm. Suddenly he understood. "The birthday book!" he said, leaping up. The head librarian scrambled to her feet beside him. "We looked there," said the librarian. "We looked everywhere." "Maybe, just maybe," said Nicholas. "It's worth a try. Think of cake and presents and jump!" They landed exactly on the page Nicholas remembered, the one with the cake and the great pile of presents. "There," said Nicholas, pointing to a box with a green ribbon. A small blankness reached upward from the box lid. It was only for a blink of an eye, but Nicholas was sure of it now. The blank space could only be filled by the grasping arm of the lost chimpanzee. "There!" The chimpanzee understood. With a whoop of delight and a thrust of its arms that sent the ring spinning off Nicholas's finger, it hopped into the box. The next moment they were sitting in the library. "No wonder our friend couldn't find its way back," said the head librarian. "It had only been seen inside of the box." "How did it get there? Who is the present for?" asked Nicholas. "I was wondering that myself," said the head librarian. So they read the book together, and for the first time in his life, Nicholas did not even think once about building forts. By the time they finished, it was evening. Everyone else had gone home, except Nicholas's mother. She'd fallen asleep with her head on a pile of books. "I dreamed I was a bush pilot in a far north, a dancer in a grand ballet, and a detective on the trail of a master criminal," she said. The head librarian smiled at Nicholas. Sometimes a little magic in one part of the library spills over into other parts as well. And Nicholas and his mother, their bag overflowing with books and their minds overflowing with wonder, walked home past the puddles of warm spring night.